In this series, we introduce the stories of some of the DaDa artists who are with us on a journey to try. DaDa presents Try.
The difference in how much help, how much support, how much open I can be is unbelievable.
Hello, I'm Nikki Miles Welding, Joint Artistic Director and CEO at DaDa. Today I'm in a dance studio. I'm not actually dancing, unfortunately. I am sat in my power wheelchair. I'm wearing my yellow beanie. I've got glasses on, piercing in my left nostril. I've got a bit of a Nordic black and white sweater on today, black skinny jeans, black high top trainers that have got like a silver bit at the front. And I am joined by a brilliant DaDa fellow, Porcelain Delaney. Hello, Porcelain.
Hi, I'm Porcelain. I'm a white woman. I've just turned 30. I have dark hair swept over one shoulder. I'm wearing a green sort of velvety dress, a gold sequin belt and black tights and Doc Martens.
Boom. And thank you, Porcelain, for joining us today. It's lovely to have you here. So Porcelain, you are one of our DaDa fellows. Really excited to have you on our programme. But before we start hearing about you, tell us, if you could describe yourself as a hot beverage, what hot beverage would that be and why?
It has to be a hot toddy. I'm very Irish, a little bit alcoholic and got a kick to me.
Oh, got a kick, that's what I like. So Porcelain, tell us about you. Who is Porcelain Delaney as an artist?
I always find this one an interesting question. So I initially worked as a dancer, moved across several forms. I worked in circus and cabaret. A few years ago, I really started focusing on disability art. I've tried to move from being a performing artist into being a theatre maker. So I'm now trying to make my own work, trying to tell stories that I'm sick of not being seen in the world.
So you're one of our DaDa fellows, and this first season at DaDa is about to try. So, Scratch is coming up. Tell us about the piece that you're presenting for Scratch and what you're hoping to try.
So I'm creating a piece of work called Nameless. It's an interactive cabaret play about identity crisis and identity loss. It's the first scripted piece of my own work I'll be performing live, and it's the first interactive piece of work I've made ever.
Wow.
Which it turns out it's a logistical nightmare, but it's lots of fun. I think with everything that's happened the last few years, everyone's had some sort of sense of loss of their own identity, whether that be because they're not going into work or they're not seeing their usual social circle. So I'm hoping it's going to be something that the whole audience can connect to and feel like, oh, at least part of that represents my story.
Great. And what is it for you that you're trying out? Is it the interactive element? Is that new to you?
A lot of it's new. So my own scripted work has never been performed live before. That's completely new to me. The interactive work I've never done before. And one of the cabaret acts in it is a character that I've been dreaming of for about 10 years but haven't actually made into reality yet. I cannot wait for him to be introduced.
Are you allowed to tell us any more, or is it top secret? Give us little hints.
It's based on a man you'll all recognise.
Oh, okay. Interesting, interesting. So what do you hope audiences get out of your work at Scratch?
I'm hoping everyone connects to it, and I think it's a common experience that we've all shared. I'm also hoping, because although a lot of dreadful things have happened, there has been some positives for some people through the past few years. And I'm hoping to highlight that yes, it's awful, yes, we've all suffered losses, but there are good things, there are things we can celebrate, things we can be excited for, and we can use it to learn. We don't have to go back to how we used to be. We should take advantage of what we've learned over the past few years and go forwards with that knowledge, act differently.
What would you say you've learned over the past few years?
For mine, it'll definitely be work is not the be-all and end-all. There needs to be other components to your life.
And what's been, because you also said to me earlier that you've recently identified as neurodivergent. What impact has that had on you as a person and as an artist?
It's quite a strange one for me, and I wasn't expecting it when I was diagnosed. I'd been seeing a dyslexia specialist just for some help with my writing, and they were like, yes, you very clearly have ADHD. No, I don't. And then when we were talking about things, I remembered people asked if I had it so often when I was a child. My dad used to say, no, she has AD. Oh, look, a shiny thing. And then there was an SEN group I used to work with as a facilitator. And their favourite hobby was pointing out every time I did an autistic behaviour. I'm like, I don't have autism. I'm here to work with people that have autism. And they're like, no, you are one of us. Which I thought was hilarious at the time. It's only now I'm going, oh yeah, so I am. Makes a lot of sense, actually.
Those people kind of recognised it before.
It was their favourite hobby. Not so much interested in the drama, pointing out my behaviours.
That probably because they could, like you say, feel you were one of them.
It's just so funny that it didn't occur. I think we're taught to think in such a binary way. Like, it never occurred to me, and it's so obvious looking back. It's like, oh, I'm ridiculously good at guessing how neurodivergent people might feel and might want to react in this scene. Yeah, because it's how you want to react, you idiot.
And so I suppose with that then, has that allowed you to think around how you work as an artist?
Definitely, particularly working in disability art, like even just two people with autism might have completely different access needs, and the amount of times I've come across other people's access needs and things that I would never thought applied to me and gone, actually, I'll just give that a go. I'll try and see what working like them's like. Oh, actually, that's so much easier. Why don't I start doing it that way? And so there's a lot around it which isn't necessarily for my access, but then I've gone, well, actually, that's easier, or that makes more sense. Why don't I start doing that going forward?
And what have rehearsals felt like? Like, you're making a show on your own, essentially. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what challenges has that thrown up?
I think a lot of it, particularly with a lot of it being drawn from real life, it's going, is this actually funny, or is this funny just to me? Or there's some parts of it where you really go off on one. I'm like, okay, is screaming at the audience and crying for 10 minutes going to be engaging? Probably not. Let's cut this scene down. So I think it's trying to stay true to the story, but remove myself enough to make something relatable.
Yeah, rather than it feeling like it's self-indulgent.
Yeah.
A bit like you said, you have that dickhead detector.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do that with your own work, don't you? Like, is this self-indulgent moment? Do I really need it? Let's get rid of it. What is it actually adding to the story? Just want to ask you, if you could use 3 words to describe what it's like to be, or who you are as a disabled, deaf, well, in your case, disabled neurodivergent artist, what 3 words would you use?
Community-led.
I'll allow that, it's hyphened. It's 1 word, yeah.
Community-led, challenge. I forgot my 3rd word. Frustrated is the one that comes to mind. I know I actually had a positive word planned, and for some reason this is what's come down.
Community-led, challenge, and frustrated. Okay, talk me through those. Why community-led?
There is such a strong sense of community and support within the disability arts world. I existed for years as an artist not part of this world, and the difference in how much help, how much support, how much open I can be is unbelievable.
Challenge, tell me about challenge.
It's a constant case of challenging ideas. We have some very old-fashioned ideas of who can do theatre and what theatre should be in this country. It doesn't represent the current makeup of the country, and it doesn't even entertain the majority of the country anymore. So it's constantly challenging people to be like, everyone is bored of Romeo and Juliet. You do not need to programme another one of that. You need to programme something that's relevant to today's society.
Mm-hmm. And your final one, frustrated? Why?
I think frustration comes down to, similar to challenge, the amount of talent that we both know that are amazing and aren't getting the bookings. And a lot of the time it's not even prejudice or nastiness, it's people are so scared of doing something wrong, they'd rather not book someone with access requirements or not book someone that needs a certain sort of language, because they're so scared if they get that wrong and someone goes on Twitter and complains about them. And it's become a really vicious cycle. And like, nearly anyone I know in the disability arts community, just go to them and say, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which one of these wordings I'm meant to use. Please, can you tell me?
Yeah.
Would be interested in booking X person. We don't understand how to facilitate those access requirements. Please, can you explain to me? There should be an open dialogue, but I think people are so scared of getting anything wrong, they'd rather just not engage, and it's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, it is considerably frustrating. I join you on that. Oh, well, Porcelain, it's been a joy to spend the morning with you. Thank you
too.
very much, and we really look forward to seeing your piece at Scratch.